I'm Nick.
And I'm Ricky.
And welcome to the Demand Gen Daily Podcast. All right, before we kick off, please remember to like, subscribe, ask us questions, we answer them. And today's topic is, when is the right time to audit your marketing? This is an actual topic that has come from a few of our clients over at Blue Meta. And they're like, we're auditing every month or every quarter or every year. When is the right time? And we do this all the time. We do audits for people, whether they're ongoing clients or not. We have some fractional CMOs that tap into us to help them audit things to keep their internal teams honest and give some guidance as well. But when is the right time to audit, Ricky?
Yeah, there's really a lot of answers to this, but there's some very specific things that you need to keep an eye out for. It'd be easy to say, just keep auditing all the time. It's not really feasible. You got to really time it. And so you got to keep an eye out for some very specific timing. One of those things is if you're noticing a misalignment of your KPIs and metrics when it comes to your dashboard, and you're noticing that the KPIs, so this could be website visitors, it could be conversions, it could be whatever is important to you within the type of marketing that you're doing. If you're finding that the KPIs are not translating into business metrics, so you're not getting sales, you're not getting high quality leads, you're not getting the SQLs, you're not getting the thing that you're trying to do to generate more business. And if that misalignment is in place, then it's time to do an audit and see what's going on.
Yeah, and this can happen very often where items drift, right? Like the KPIs and the metrics drift apart, and that's really like a key point to look at. The other one is obviously looking at things like seasonal and market shifts, right? Again, and by the way, like that's like the transition of the last point to this one, which is during certain times of the year, you can see KPIs getting better, maybe metrics are getting better in relation to the KPI. So there is like a little bit of ongoing widening between them and margins between them as well. And some of these things can be seasonal because busy time of year for your product or service, but sometimes they can be the market shifting as well.
If you're noticing something like a major market shift, let's say there's a recession coming, it's like, okay, let's take a look, let's audit what we're doing, because part of that audit is maybe your results haven't changed, but maybe you do need to prepare yourself for what's coming in the market, and maybe it's time to make some cuts. Maybe it's time to focus your efforts on what's working the best. So that is always a great time to sit back, look at the data and go, okay, what are we doing? Let's realign through an audit. Another one is if there's any significant change in business metrics. So again, if you're looking at your business dashboard, you're seeing we just had an unusual, not like a downtrend, but just like all of a sudden something dropped off. We're talking like all of a sudden sales took a 20% cut, or revenue took a 20% cut in the last month. That's a time to do an audit. If there's any kind of, and if there's no obvious, okay, it's clearly this, and even if there is, it's good to verify it, but look at your business metrics. So what are the things that are driving success in the business? What are the things that are driving money, revenue? And if those things have shifted, you need to definitely do an audit. And last but not least, Nick, I know you've got some opinions on what's the ideal rhythm when it comes to doing audits.
Yeah, for me, it really does depend. So some of the other topics that we've discussed so far about when to audit your entire marketing system goes back to, is it producing the results that you want? Are you hitting your corporate targets? Are you hitting the growth targets? Or if you're trying to level flat, like having flat sales that, your market's taking a hit and you want to maintain your sales, thereby earning market share. When is the right time? It's contextual to the things that we talked about, but it's also contextual to how much money you're spending, right? So if you're generating a lot of data every month, you could make a good argument for a full audit every month or every other month. Most people need them every quarter. Your spend is a little bit less on the ad side, and the number of campaigns you're running, you could be looking at every 6 months. And I rarely recommend a year because I feel like a year is way too long in between these. And now this isn't necessarily something that you need a third party to do. You could do this internally. If you have a CMO or a fractional CMO, they can often take care of these things for you. I like having some sort of like third party audit it, and I always have, because it's fresh eyes on something, and you may learn something from them in their audit and saying like, you're missing the following points, like why are you doing this, or why aren't you doing these other things?
Mhm.
Like they can see things that sometimes you go snowblind over after a while.
Yeah.
So I would say the long and the short of it is really, it depends on how much data you're generating and how many initiatives you're pushing out in a monthly, quarterly, half year basis, and then tuning it to those things.
Yeah, and I think that it's also there's no reason why you can't have your internal team do an audit and then also have an external party do an audit. It keeps everybody honest because there's likely going to be different levels of exposure and experience and understanding of the nuance of the business that will bring some things to life. There's no harm in having it done internally and externally at the same time.
Absolutely. And I think that, to Ricky's point, great insight comes out of those, because the outside third party perspective is often going to be like very much around, is everything up to date from like a tactical perspective, and maybe even somewhat strategic perspective, in the sense that, are people using the latest trends and the best practices? That, like, the element that we haven't talked about really is education. So if you have an internal team executing these things, how are they getting up to date on every month, every quarter, every year? There's new best practices coming up. The audit is an opportunity for people to get tuned up on those. So maybe somebody does an audit, we realize that, hey, like, we're not doing these like certain tactics the way that we should be. So let's get some education on that. Let's go find a course. Maybe the person that did the audit can train us a bit on these new things and how they think that they can apply. The other thing I think I really like in this space is having a consistent audit partner, because as they keep doing these, they learn more and more about your business and they become better and better.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a very good point. And I think that now's a great time. Definitely, if you haven't done an audit you can definitely reach out to a fractional CMO, to an agency. You can reach out to us. We're happy to support you guys and provide an audit. And yeah, definitely reach out if you're interested in one, but would really encourage you guys to look at least doing your own audit at the bare minimum.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Until next time, please remember to like, follow, subscribe, ask us questions. We answer them.